Hi, welcome to Your Right Career, 31 Days to the Work You Love. How to truly find the direction you want to go in, creating your career, and successfully pursue it with passion. I love that word, passion, Lee. I am Bernard Percy. And that's me on the left with the sunglasses. And next to me is my partner, Lee Eichenbaum.
Hello, everybody. So we are the two guys from Brooklyn, New York.
And we're very proud of that heritage, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we didn't meet in Brooklyn, but we're both from there.
Absolutely. And we have a great heritage. You'll hear it come out in our voices that we talk proper English, okay? So what we're going to do today is go over with workshop series. Week 1, discover your talents and abilities. This is the first of the 4-week program. We want to thank you for signing up for our program. You know, we are very unique. There are many coaches, there are many programs that promise you to help you find the right career path or education path. Well, we have been around for 14 years, and we definitely have helped thousands of people around the world. So we want to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you.
All right, so our vision, this is our vision, our company's vision, is to help people discover a career direction that is challenging and rewarding, one that brings them true fulfillment, the satisfaction and self-respect that all of us are after, and ultimately obtain success and happiness. And, you know, for us, that is really one of the most important things for us is our vision. You know, what do we really want to accomplish long range? And this is what it is. It's we really, truly want to help. Our mission statement, which you're going to do, you know, you're going to work on during the program, but this is our mission statement, is to help you go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you only dare imagine.
And help you to find those dreams. Some of you are going, but I don't know my dream. Help me find my dream. Well, for those of you who don't know their dreams, part of what can happen and what we intend to happen is you find them. Now, those of you who do know your dreams, but I've never made it go right to achieve that, you'll understand what you have to do and know about yourself to make that dream become a reality so you can go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you dare to imagine.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so our commitment to you. If you have any questions at all, you can always contact us. We have coaches, we have consultants. The key point here is, and this is, Bernard and I talk about this all the time, everything turns out right in the end. If it isn't right, it isn't the end.
I love that. And we will help make sure you get it right. That's our commitment to you.
All right, so I'm going to give you a program overview, and then we're going to get into the workshop. But first, so the first thing that you would have worked on is actually the self-paced program, which is how to make the right career choice. So this is in your membership area. There's a self-paced program. There are webinars that have been recorded, and you have practical exercises. And it goes right along with the workshop. The next thing we're going to be doing, which is now, is our workshop webinars. And these are 1 per week. We're going to have a total of 4. That's why it's 31 days to the work you love. And here, what you're going to find is advice and guidance, how to get the most out of every single step. And it is very important, and when Bernard will talk about it, it's very important you get a thorough understanding and you really get each one of the steps done properly. That is really, really essential. And then also, after each of our workshops, there'll be a questionnaire that will follow so that if there's any questions you have from that particular workshop, you can ask us. And then within a day or two, we will have a question and answer session to answer those questions. Okay, so basically, this is the program. This is the online self-paced program. It's how to make the right career choice. And again, you have access to this already. There's an introduction. Step 1 is the 3 key success factors, which we'll go over. Step 2 is talents and abilities. Now, that's the workshop that we're going to be doing today. Step 3 is passion and personality. Step 4 is purposes, where you develop a personal mission statement, sometimes called the statement of purpose. The 5th
personal statement towards your career.
Okay, good. Step 5 is the right career path. So this is where everything comes together, where we do the alignment. You have the proper foundation built. and now you can make the right choices with regard to your career or educational path. Then we'll basically have the completion of the program and you'll be a graduate. Okay, so the workshops, and this is the first of them, is to discover your talents and abilities. The next one, which will be a week from now, will be discover your true personality, your interest, and your passion. The third week, we will help you create your personal statement of purpose, and that is career purpose, or your mission statement. And then the fourth one, we will work on aligning all of these three key success factors and just help you decide on the right career path. Bernard, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I'd love to do this program myself. It looks so good.
All right. So basically, as I said, we'll have question and answers 1 or 2 days after each workshop. And what we need you to do is complete the questionnaire after the workshop, and we'll show you where that is later. All right. So I'm going to go over the 3 key success factors. Now, this is just basically a review. So I'm just going to give a quick review on this. So the first thing is to discover and understand one's talents, personalities, and purposes. This is the foundation. This is where you're from here, you're going to build your castle, your mansion, your home, you know, whatever career path or educational path you want. This is what's needed as a foundation. This is the basic. This is the basics.
Lee, let me just add something to that. You know, my personality is, you know, I love to communicate with people. I love to travel. I love to go all over the world. My purpose, you know, I like, part of my purpose is to help people feel better about themselves, okay? So what am I going to do for a career? I know I'll become a singer because I could travel around the world and I can make people happy. They can be, you know, feel better about themselves. And if you heard me sing,
I have.
Yes, you'll be happy about yourself when you turn me off, okay? Because I don't have the talent to be successful as a singer. I have the personality for it and even the purpose, but I don't have the talent. And so what we want to make sure is you understand how all 3 of these are part of who you are. As Lee mentioned, the foundation for your success. And that's what we want to make sure you have real certainty on. What are your talents, your personality, and that statement of purposes.
Yep. The 2 guys from Brooklyn do not have singing as one of their talents. All right. So here are the definitions. So we really get a clear understanding of these 3 key success factors. So key is paramount, crucial, essential. As an example, a key to happiness is doing what you love. So we want you to really understand this is the key. This will unlock the door to you to be able to find that right career path. The next is success. So this is accomplishment. This is you have an aim or a purpose. It's the accomplishment of one's aim or purpose or one's goals. An example sentence. Many people believe that money is the only measure of success. We believe the amount of people you help is a true measure of success. So again, success is what you're trying to accomplish. You know, it's the journey that puts a smile on your face. But the success is that state where you have that accomplishment. The factor, now this is the one that people kind of miss up a little bit, but a factor is a circumstance, a fact, or an influence contributing to a particular result or outcome. So it is, what is it? What is the fact? What is the thing that results in the outcome we're looking at? And these are why we have talent, personality, and purpose. And these are the factors. These are the things that we're looking for, the facts that we're looking for. So an example sentence, food, water, and shelter are 3 factors needed for survival. You have the opportunity to discover the 3 factors that are unique to you that can bring certainty, confidence, and happiness. All right, Bernard, this is your.
So, you know, there is a journey. This is a quote from Michael Dell, who's the founder of Dell Computers. As you start your journey, the first thing you should do is throw away that store-bought map and begin to draw your own. You know, everybody knows what you should do. There's a quote by the writer H.G. Wells. He said, "There's no passion as great as the passion to alter someone else's draft." Like you have a first draft for a book and somebody says, well, here's what you should do to write it better and make it different. I'm sure you've all had people who are giving you advice, probably from very good reasons because they want to really help you. But you have to decide for yourself what the truth is. And don't look at other people and the path they're taking. That may not be the right path for you. And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's by the philosopher Lao Tzu. That's very true. And the question Lee and I ask, what if you're taking that first step in the wrong direction? And you go 1,000 miles out of your way because you don't know the right path to take, and you're moving forward, but in the wrong direction, and you will not achieve the result that you want.
Perfect.
Now, I've delivered this workshop hundreds of times. I've worked personally in consultation with, over 1,000 people delivering this program. And there are 3 things that get in the way of people being successful. And I'll go into these in a little more detail. No, yeah, buts. And I'll go over that in the next slide. But it means a negative. You say, I can do that, but I don't know if I'm good enough, and so on. Next, truth is what you observe for yourself. See, my job and Lee's job in developing this program wasn't to help convince you of something or persuade you. Because the thing that works best is when you observe the truth to yourself. So the program is intended to guide you to observe the truth. So you go, yep, that's it. That's right. Because you understand it, not because we believe or somebody else believes is what you should be doing. And third, and this is very important, many people, when they do talents, they go over their talents. They go, oh, I'm really good at math, like my partner Lee, and science. And Lee said, hey, I'm really great at math and science. I guess I'll become an engineer. Okay, it turns out, Lee, you want to mention how that was not quite the right choice for you?
Well, I mean, it wasn't so much not a right choice. I love being an engineer. It just really didn't align to all 3 of the factors. The key thing is how I became an engineer was simply, I was very good in math, and I was talking to my professor, and I really wanted to be a teacher, and she said, well, teachers don't make much money. and that's how I became an engineer, was purely because it was totally money, and not that it was necessarily a bad decision. It's not my life's work.
Right. So the point is you have to know 3 things, and you have to fully complete your talent, personality, and workshop exercises, and to be able to really know with certainty you are making the right career path decision. So as you go over talents, and you go, well, I'm really good at math and science, don't think, well, what career would I need to go to if I'm good at math and science? Or, hey, I'm really a great athlete. I'm really well coordinated in my, handling different things with my body. What path, a career path would be good for that? No. You wait until you finish your talents, personality, and purposes, and do those fully before you can actually make that right decision. Now, we've provided worksheets for you, to do some of the drills that we'll be going over. And it's important that you do these fully so you feel really good about them. And last, is really ensure you're satisfied that you've completed it. Remember, everything turns out right in the end. If it isn't right, it isn't the end. I love this quote from Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was, Muhammad Ali. He's an example of somebody who had no yeah buts. One of the biggest barriers that people run into is they go, I would love to become a great artist, but, I'm too old. That's a yeah but. Or, I don't have the experience in life to start doing something. I can't be successful. Or, I don't know if I'll ever really be good enough. See, once you put your attention on the yeah buts, the negatives, then your attention is on the negatives. We only want you to think about what's good and right about you. In delivering the consultations individually, I'm very, very firm on that, as is Lee. We only want your attention to be on what's good and right about you. Don't start focusing on the negatives and on the yeah buts. Very, 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 very important, okay? So let's take a look at this chart. Okay, ladies, still need our beautiful faces on here? I think people know what we look like now.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. So here you are at point A. I love this chart. We all want to get to point B. Now, what's point B? That's the ideal scene. That's what you love to do. This is the right thing for me. I wake up in the morning. I can't wait to get to work. We all want to be at B, to be at B. to be thrilled about our education. We love our studies. We love our work. That's our ideal scene. And we hit some barriers though, that keep us from getting there. And one of the biggest barriers is, what is my B? I don't know what my ideal scene is. What is the right path for my education or my career? So what happens? Then you maybe go to C. And what's C? This is okay. I like things about it. Some things I don't like. The money's good. I have friends there. The work does bring me some happiness and satisfaction. It's okay. It's okay. It's not B. It's not that real thrill of doing your work. It's okay. And then maybe you hit some other barriers, and then you go to D. Why am I doing what I'm doing? I'm just really miserable and unhappy. I know it's the wrong thing for me. I was working at a job, a very honorable, good job, developing training programs, marketing materials, and, documentation for high-tech companies, and I was very good at it. Okay, and I made a lot of money. But I knew it was the wrong thing for me to be doing. And every day I went to work doing that, I lost some more self-respect. This is not what I should be doing. And it was important to me to really be at B. And now I'm at B, Lee's at B, and we want you to be at B. So where are you on this chart? Are you at B? Are you doing this is the ideal, I love what I'm doing, it's the right thing for me to be doing? Are you at C? Well, it's okay, the things I like about it. Or are you at D? Oh, why am I doing what I'm doing? I can't believe it. And as we go through this program, when you learn about all three of these factors, you'll know whether you're truly at B, truly at C, or truly at D. So this is your foundation, okay? Knowing your talent, personality, and purposes and where they align, okay? And that's why you have to fully do each part of this program before you move on to deciding what is the right career path. Now, I'm not saying don't have a realization as you look working on talents and personality and purposes. Great. Have that realization, but know to really have that strong foundation, you have to complete all three parts fully: your talent, personality, and purposes. Now, today, the workshop, we're going to cover talents to make sure you fully get and understand what your talents are.
And then you have your worksheets, and you should definitely pull those out. You have one for talent, one for personality, one for purposes. And hey, Bernard, what would happen if someone, as we're doing this, kind of sees a personality or a purpose statement?
Well, this happens a lot, Lee. Good question. We're working on talent, so we'll define that in a moment. But they come up with something which is actually a personality factor, like what they love, what interests them, what they value, what's important to them, the emotional feeling about it. They say, I love to run. Well, love to run is not a talent. It's a personality trait. But I'm a great runner. That's an ability that you have. That's a talent. So if you happen to come up with a personality trait, put that on the personality worksheet. Or if you come up with a statement of purpose, the reason why something is done or made or exists. As a teacher, I really want to help motivate and inspire my students. Okay, that's a statement of purpose. Put that under there. Now, do you have the talent to motivate and inspire your students? That's a talent. And you have the personality that you love doing that. You love to motivate and inspire your students. You put that on the personality sheet. But we're going to look now and focus on talents. See, the way the program works is first we go over talents, and that leads us into personality and interests. Okay. And that will then lead us into personality and interest, Lee. There you go. Or you have passions. And that leads us into purposes. You see, they kind of move forward. When you understand your talents, it opens you up to looking at more about your personality, your attitudes, your interests, your passions. Now you have clues and things that you can work with to help you understand what are those real purposes. What is the reason? What do you really, truly want to accomplish? Okay. Now, once you know these three things, and it's like a trail that we take you on, each one will feed the other. That brings you to, okay, what is that real career path? What is the direction I want to take for myself as I go forward in my schooling or education? So here's our goal for this workshop. We want you to understand your talents and the knowledge, hey, you are truly talented. You will learn how to identify your talents and observe their patterns. Patterns are the groups or the things that kind of align together. And we'll go over that in a few moments. This is the first of the 3 key success factors. Okay, Lee. And here's a definition of talent. It's the natural ability to do things well that can be developed into a greater skill. Okay? Natural ability to do things well that can be developed into a greater skill. Let's go to the next slide, Lee. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is, knowing that definition, what do you do well that can be developed into a greater skill? So take a few moments on your worksheet to write out what your talents are. Now, as we continue in this workshop, we're going to give you more information, more things to understand about talents. And then we'll have other drills where you will add, change, or delete what you write now. So right now, take a few moments and write down talents, maybe 5, 10, 15 talents. Let's see what you come up with. And if you have problems finding your talents or don't think you have any, well, just write down that. And then as we go through this workshop, I'm sure you'll understand what your talents are. So take a few minutes. If you're online watching this right now, you can pause the program and then come back to it. Okay, welcome back. Why am I showing a picture of these people? Well, these were the founders of Microsoft. And next one, Lee. That's Bill Gates right there. Okay? And so they brought with them talent, personality, and purpose to help create Microsoft. Okay, but if they didn't have the talent as programmers, as business people, as marketing people, they would never have had the success they had. So my question is, how many of you would have invested money with this group of people when they first started, Okay. Boy, if you did, you'd be very well off today.
That's for sure.
Now, do you fall into one of the following categories when you think about your talents, okay? And this is what Lee and I have observed, that so many people have problems with finding their talents. One, you believe you don't have any. This is not unusual. Okay, when I was in Siberia several years ago, I was working with a lawyer. And I said, okay, tell me about your talents. And she said, I don't have any. And she was serious, but she was a successful lawyer. She did not understand how she can identify them, did not understand what to look for, what a talent was, did not really know the definition. Okay, Lee? Are we going forward, Lee?
Yes. Do you not see him?
No.
I got 4 up right now.
I only see 2.
Oh, interesting.
Well, let me tell you what I don't know what the 4 are exactly that you're showing, Lee, but how many of you, there we go, okay. So people are unaware of their talents, or you believe you're not good enough. I'm good, but not as good as a top professional. But remember the definition of talent. It's the natural ability to do something well that can be developed into a greater skill. What do you do well? What do you're good at it now. Maybe not as good as a top professional, but if you concentrated your energy and activities in learning how to do that, use that talent, you maybe become as talented as a top professional. Okay. Another thing that people say, you believe you can't make money using your talents. Well, people tell you don't become an artist. How are you going to make money and earn money? And not knowing or realizing how your talents in one area can be used in other areas of life. If you're really good at predicting something, like I had one student who I worked with, he said, I have no talents. I asked him, well, what are you good at? He said, I'm good at video games, but I have no talent. I said, okay, well, what talents help you be good at playing video games? And he goes, well, I have quick reaction time and good eye-hand coordination. Great. What other talents help you be good at playing video games? And he thinks, and he goes, oh, that's right. I can predict what's going to happen before it happens. See, And he observes the game so well, which is a talent. He remembers what occurred earlier, which is a talent. And he aligns two things, those two things, what's happening currently as he's looking at the video game. And he knows, okay, I bet this is going to happen next. So that ability to predict what's going to happen before it happens, which is based on other talents that he had, is a talent that he can use in different areas of life. Observe something, remember what occurred, you see similar circumstances happening now. I can predict what's going to happen next. And that can be done in all areas of life.
Yeah, I remember when I did this program, my wife and I actually were doing it together, and Bernard was running a workshop on it. And he talked about, okay, we'll write down your talents. Well, immediately I said to Jane, I said, I have no talents, so let's talk about our kids. Let me talk about Emily or Eric and their talents. And my wife, being as smart as she is, raises her hand and says, Bernard, my husband said he has no talents. And Bernard spent a little bit of time with me, and I'm an engineer, and I always considered talents to always be in the arts. I always considered them to be, music and art and dance, and even in sports. And I like sports, but I was never good enough to play sports. But I did become an award-winning engineer, and lighting designs were featured in many magazines and whatnot. But bottom line is that to me, I really was not a talented person. And today I know what my talents are, and it's not like I'm saying things that are not true. I know where my talents are, and I know where my talents are not. And that makes it a very, very comfortable situation.
Very good, Lee. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing that happens, people will invalidate or make you wrong and say you're not really good enough, or you can never be good enough, or don't even try to do that because you can never succeed at that. It becomes a barrier. And how many of you have ever been excited about something that you really wanted to pursue some dream, and they say, well, you can never make that happen. You can never be a really good artist, or how are you going to earn money doing that? So it's a real barrier to keep you from really looking at your true talents. So there are three main reasons, which we covered briefly, but I want to go over them again. It's very important. Why people don't know their talents. One, you're not an artist or an athlete. I had the similar thing to Lee. Through my high school years, even when I started college, I didn't think I had any talent because I wasn't a great athlete and I wasn't a great artist at all, so I didn't have any talent. And the second is I'm not as good as a top professional. Okay, I didn't realize the definition of talent is a natural ability to do things well that can be developed into a greater skill. And I definitely have developed my talents into a greater skill as a communicator, so we can help motivate and inspire people and so on. And the last one is really probably the most common one. What do you do easily and naturally you don't think of as a talent? See, I work with a boy in Hungary, and he told me how his physics teacher in high school entered him in a competition to see who the top physics student was in all of Hungary. And he told me that people studied for weeks and months for this competition. He said he opened the book the night before and came in second in the whole country. I said, Tanchi, that's his name, Tanchi. That's incredible. He goes, no, anybody can do that. Well, Lee, you might be able to with your background in math and science.
I don't think so.
But I know I couldn't do that. But you see, he was so good at it, he never considered that a talent. Okay? And so what you do easily and naturally, you just overlook it, don't think of as being a talent. So with these points in mind, let's go over a little bit more about talents. Main reasons why most people don't know their talents. And then we just said that again, that people are artists, entertainers, or athletes, Lee. What you do easily and naturally you don't consider to be a talent, and believe they're not as good as someone who's a top professional, so they don't really have talent. Okay. Are any of these true for you as well? Take a look at it. Do you believe, hey, I have no talent? Only great athletes or entertainers, or artists are talented. Okay.
Yeah, the one thing with regard to talents is very interesting. I call it Chapter 2, TOO. These are the things that you're told when you're, certainly when you're younger, that you do too much of. Like, for example, not in our household, but outside our household, my daughter was always told that she talks too much. okay? And she does. I mean, Emily loves to communicate. Well, today she is a teacher, and you better be able to talk quite a bit if you're going to be a teacher and an instructor. So, although people, it could have been a negative thing for Emily, here it is a tremendously positive thing, which is why she is so successful in her career as a teacher. For me, in fact, they called my middle name was Y, W-H-Y. So, because everything that someone said, I always wanted to know why, and I kept asking questions. And at one point, I actually thought there was something wrong with me because I asked so many questions. Yet, it is honestly my greatest talent, the ability to ask questions, the ability to know when to ask the question, and the ability to get an answer. And as an engineer, all we're doing is problem solving. You have to ask questions, whether it's of yourself, of your team, or of your client. So here is one of my greatest talents, the ability to ask questions. And if I would have listened to the people around me, and they didn't do it purposely, but they would say, oh, he always asks questions, he's always asking why. I would have thought that to be something negative. And again, this is a talent that I possess that is so fundamental, so basic to me, that finding that talent and understanding it was an amazing relief, So
That's great, Lee.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, I'm going to call you Mr. Wineman from now on.
There you
Good,
go.
okay. All right, Lee. So let's take a look at this chemist. Okay, what are the talents this chemist has, to do his job well? Well, the ability to observe small differences in color. I'll look at that beaker and I happen to be red-green colorblind, so I'll see whatever I see there, right? But he sees small differences in color that you and I may miss unless we really develop that ability to a greater skill. He can focus his attention very precisely on what he's looking for, and he can carefully measure amounts to be used. So what are the talents when somebody, what is he displaying right there, that you feel, is a talent that he has to help him become a very successful chemist? Okay, these are three that we mentioned. There are other talents, other abilities that he does well to make that happen. Okay, Lee. And here we have a manager. So what does he do well that can be developed into a greater skill? Well, he can manage others. And he has an ability to organize different activities. And he has a talent to lead. Now, in a couple of slides coming up, we're going to go over something. See, there are different talents he has to help him manage, different talents he has to help him organize, different talents he has to help him lead. So we want to break down these general talents, these large grouping of talents, into more specific talents to help you understand the talents that you have. What other talents does this manager need besides the ability to manage, organize, and lead others? The next one. And here we have the teacher that Lee was talking about. This is not Emily, but this teacher is a reflection of his daughter, Emily. Really kind and caring and just interested and very pleasant to be around. And so a teacher needs the ability to inspire others, to explain complex concepts easily and understandably, and the talent to communicate. And again, we can break each of these down to how to inspire, to explain complex concepts, and the ability to communicate into lesser talents. But these are the talents that they have that help them to become successful. Okay, which of these talents do you have that we just went through? Lee, go back to the chemist again. Good. Do you have a talent to observe small differences in something? The ability to focus your attention precisely in an area that you're interested. Can you carefully measure things or be very precise in your actions? Next one, Lee. Do you have an ability to manage others? Okay. Can you organize different activities? Okay, where you're the one they come to. Can you help us organize this? Do you have the talent, the ability to lead others? Next one, Lee. What about inspiring others or explaining complex concepts easily, understandably? And what about your ability to communicate? Okay, you see, these are all talents, and maybe you never even thought about them being talents. Because, one of the barriers to keep you from knowing your talents is what you do easily and naturally you don't consider a talent. And these are very good examples of that. Okay, Lee. So what I want you to do now is take a look at the talent sheet, the worksheet you did earlier. Now, based on the slides just presented, is there anything you'd like to add, delete, or change about your talents? So take as long as you need, go over your worksheets, and add to your talents worksheet. Or delete something, oh, that's not really a talent, that doesn't belong there. Okay? So click pause while you're doing this exercise. Okay? So let's go and fill out more about your talents on the worksheets. Okay, welcome back. Talents within talents. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. Okay, lead next one. What talents, for example, what talents are needed to be a good communicator? I'm good at communication, not an unusual talent. Many people have that. I mean, to be talented, some people think you have to be unique and maybe the only one or very exceptional. No. Millions of people have the ability to communicate. Great. Millions of people have the ability to manage or organize. Great. But what are the talents that you have that are basic categories of talents? Communication is a basic talent. So what are the talents within the communicating that help you to be a good communicator? Well, the ability to truly listen with interest. That's a talent. Have you ever spoken to somebody and they're not interested in you and they just can't seem to focus their attention? Well, that doesn't help them as a communicator. Can you really understand another person's reality, the viewpoint they have? Okay? The ability to express your thoughts so others can truly understand your ideas. These are all examples of talents. Now, talent is a natural ability to do something well that can be developed into a greater skill. Okay? And so do you have an ability as a communicator? Good. What are the talents within that category that help you be a good communicator? So when you do the next drill, you may want to focus on those talents within talents. Okay, Lee. Well, the last one is the ability to know the right thing to say at the right time. Believe it or not, yep, that's a talent. And now, what other abilities can you add to your, to help somebody become a good communicator? Okay.
Yeah, you look at public speaking. Very, very different than communicating on the phone or communicating in a small meeting. Very, very different requirements from a talent standpoint.
Well, absolutely. And also, there's receiving communication and delivering communication. Are you really good at receiving communication, listening with real interest? And so the person knows that, can you create a safe space if somebody's willing to communicate to you? That's an ability. See, let's really break these down. Now, what about how to be a good leader? What are some of the talents within the talents of being a good leader? Okay, the ability to inspire others. Can you get the ability to get others to understand and agree with your vision? The ability to control others. Leaders have these abilities. Okay. There's another one down there. Oh, there we go. The ability to look, you have a vision for something. I know what I want to accomplish. I want to start a business. I want to organize a party, whatever it is. Do you have the ability to plan and the needed actions so they come in the right sequence of steps? That's a talent. Okay. I mean, we could spend weeks and months going over all your talents. We can. Okay. The ability to scratch your face is a talent. It may not be important unless you want to be a model on a commercial as you scratch your face to, promote some itching cream or something. But we are looking for the main abilities or main talents you have, which we'll go over in a couple of minutes. So what are the abilities that you have to be a good leader? The ability to make good decisions. Okay, Lee, next one. Here's somebody who did not make a very good decision. All right, his viewpoint was, well, let me put as much weight in the wagon as the wagon could hold. Not a good decision. Look at that poor mule over there. The effect of it is not a very good decision being made.
Wow.
But that is a talent. And now, what are the talents that help you make a good decision? The ability to evaluate importances, the ability to observe situations so you know what would be the greatest good, et cetera, et cetera. You see, we have so many talents, okay? Okay, the ability to get others to work as a team. This is a team, okay? And they organize themselves properly. The dog on the bottom, I'm the strong one. I can support everyone. The one in the middle, I'm the steadiest. And the cat says, well, I can stretch out and I can grab something and hold on to it. See? And the ability to create a team, to work as a team, to organize teams is a talent. You see? So we want you to understand what you can look at about what you do well that can be developed into a greater skill. Okay, Lee. So now, I want you to review the talent sheet you did earlier. Based on the slides just presented, is there anything you would like to add, delete, or change about your talents? Take a look if you have any broad category, a general talent like the ability to lead or the ability to organize or ability to create works of art. See if you can break those down into smaller talents that contribute to that larger pattern or group of talent that you have. So take a few moments, take as long as you need, click pause, and come back to our slideshow when you're done. Okay, Lee. So go to the next. Good. So here we have three people that we looked at earlier. Okay. What are the pattern and main groups of talents you've been willing to develop in yourself? Okay. And so the chemist or the scientist, well, he has to develop that ability to observe, to think analytically. The manager to communicate, the ability to lead. See, these are the patterns that he has. A teacher to control others, to explain things clearly, help students to use what they have learned. Okay, part of my talent, part of the thing that's important to me is my ability to develop close relationships with people pretty easily. And because I look at that, that's a talent. I can really develop close relationships. Okay. Now, what are the talents that I bring to that? My ability to communicate. Why am I good at communicating? I can listen really well. I can really duplicate or understand others. I can get others to duplicate myself. As an engineer, Lee, what were the patterns of talents that you noticed about yourself?
Well, I mean, the first, obviously, is problem solving as an engineer. The other thing is actually using resources, because engineers are very, very specific. So you have to, depending on where you're at, you have to work with other people. Not only that, one of the talents that I had to develop was economics, because we were not taught money. We were just taught problem solving. Well, when you get into corporate America, you have to have financial, savvy to be able to determine, well, is this a cost-effective, solution or not? So this was something that I had to develop, was basically cost-benefit analysis as well. Within engineering, the thing is to be, to be kind and thoughtful and communicate with your clients. Engineers, by nature, kind of like get very frustrated with other people, and this is a talent that I needed to develop, was working with other people and getting along with other people.
Greatly. And I was a teacher for 12 years in New York City. And part of my talent was my ability to create good control within the classroom. When I had such good control, my class had so many freedoms of what they can do, because I was willing to let them do more than any other teacher in the school, and to do things that were outside the box, because I knew I had such good control, that I could give them the freedom to do things that other teachers wouldn't let them do. So it's really evaluating one of those talents. Now, one of those main talents that you've been willing and able to develop, that you've been able to use, that you are interested in. Okay, next slide, Lee. See, I'll tell you a story about this young man in a moment. But, in terms of myself, I could be a great mechanic. I'm smart. I can figure things out. I can control my hands, right? But don't ask me to be fixing your car if it's broken. I'm not the guy. Maybe Lee, but not me. Because I've never been willing and able to demonstrate my talents in that area. But what I have been able to do is to help motivate, inspire others, to help communicate complex ideas to them, and so on. I was the editor-in-chief of a national magazine on education. This is one of my favorite stories. The man sitting down is Eric Corbin. The man standing is Tim Leffens. Eric was a quadriplegic. He had very little control of his arms and legs, and he couldn't really speak or communicate. But his mind was active, and he had so much to communicate to others. And he had an ability to communicate, but they didn't quite know how to get that talent out of him. Till Tim Leffens came along as a teacher, and he said, okay. And he found out that Eric had a great interest in art and would love to have been an artist. but he had difficulty controlling, the tools of being an artist. So Tim Leffens came up with a way of helping him do that. He put a band around Eric's head, and on that band was a laser beam. And Eric would shine the laser beam on a canvas, and it would form a pattern. He would move his head, and there'd be somebody who would follow his pattern, okay, with a brush. And then Eric would indicate what color, what pattern, and so on, what texture he wanted in each part of the painting. And he would create works of art that were selling for $2,000, $3,000. And one of the quotes in our magazine said, "When I die, I want my paintings on my grave because the truth is in the paint." She had all these talents that had to be brought out as a creative person. He had things he wanted to communicate. We had to find a way for him to do it. And that was Tim Leffens' ability to discover a way to get him to communicate.
Wow.
So what are your main talents that you're willing and able to show and use, and you have been doing that? I've not been willing to become an auto mechanic. Could I have been a good one? Probably. But no, it didn't interest me. Okay. But to be a teacher, to work with students, that really interested me. That was important to me.
So those in the picture, those are the pictures behind them. Those are actually his pictures.
I believe a couple of them are, maybe other students as well, but they may be part of what he created, yeah.
Wow.
So now, here's the last drill I believe we're going to have you do in this workshop. Determine your main talents or patterns of talents that you've been willing to show and use based on the talents you've already written down. Take a look at them. What would you consider are your main talents? Because when you want to choose a career, you want to choose a career that aligns to those talents that you've been really willing and able to demonstrate, to use, to show. And that's what we want you to understand about yourself. With me, it's a communicator. With me, it's, I've had 8 books published. I do seminars across the globe. Okay. And I know where my talents lie. It's not to become a internationally renowned singer. I will be renowned, but not very successfully, right? And I've never really wanted to run a business or organize a business. It's not an area, and I could probably do well at it, but it didn't align to my other factors of personality and purpose, see? And so right now what we want you to do is look at that list of talents or patterns of, to find and determine your main patterns of talents, the ones that you go, this is what I've really been willing to show and use and get better and better at. Okay? So do that now. Okay, Lee, your turn.
All right, so I'm going to turn on our pictures so we can say goodbye. All right, here we are. All right, so obviously the goal is that you have a very, very clear understanding of your talents. And again, I want to come back just to finish up, Bernard, just on mine. My ability to ask questions, get answers, was not something I ever even thought of. By going through the process and seeing the patterns, that's when it emerged. That's when it came out that this is a talent that I have. So when I'm working with Bernard, for example, we put together presentations, we put together this whole program. All I did was ask him questions. Well, what do you do now? What do you do next? What happens if this happens? Somebody asks, okay, well, I don't have any talents. Bernard, what do we do when somebody says, I have no talents? And then Bernard gives me the answer. And that's how we documented the entire program. So Bernard's genius and ability to communicate, his desire to have people really truly succeed, to help them find that success and passion in their life, in their careers, my ability to basically put it down on paper, to work on the PowerPoints, the videos, those are the 2 talents that we possess, totally different, but it lends to this whole entire program. So now what we need you to do is finish up all of your work. If you have any questions at all, right below there will in your membership area, right below in your membership area, you will have the ability to write a questionnaire, answer the questionnaire. And what it will do is ask you questions about this particular workshop. So if you have questions on other things like personality or your career or if your mission statement, that's fine, but we're really focusing on the talent area. And then in a day or two, we'll hold a question and answer session where we'll take all of the questions and then we'll review them and answer them. All right, so thank you for being part of our first week's workshop. Bernard, any closing statements?
Yeah, remember, everything turns out right in the end. And if it isn't right, it isn't the end.
All right. Remember, you're all very, very talented, okay? So we want to hear the successes and wins with regard to that as well.
Yeah,
All right,
let me add one more thing, Lee, actually,
Yep.
just notice something. See, when I first developed the program and you came on and helped me to expand it and so on, what my real vision was to help people find out where do they really want to be brilliant.
Mm,
You know, and we all have areas where we really want to be brilliant. Now, where do you have the talent, personality, and purposes to really achieve that level of brilliance that you really want? You know, I've been very good at many different things. You know, Lee's been very good at many different things. But where did we want to be brilliant that we go, yes, this is what we want to do for our career and how to do it? So what we want to do, that's why we call it the program is called the Foundations of Brilliance. It helps you put in the right foundation to understand where you can truly be brilliant, where you want to be brilliant. And that's part of our goal and dream for you as well. So thank you very much for listening. We look forward to answering any questions and look forward to having you participate in the following workshops that we'll be doing.